Stacey Abrams is down by 3 points. It's 51 for Brian Kemp, 48 for Stacey Abrams. Only 4% of the vote remaining to come in one of the most suppressed states.
Yes,
not only with all the issues, obviously, in terms of racism, but one of the guys most enthusiastically willing to, in a very corrupt and open way, use his office to make it impossible for people to vote. There were places in Georgia where the voting machines shut off because they didn't ship them power cords. They just ran on their batteries until the batteries ran out. Not to mention, pervasive problems. We've been following all year the attempts to strip voting places out of these locations that coincidentally happen to be the black areas of that state. And he's now up by 3 points. Is 3 points what he got off of all of his efforts? Yep. Who knows?
Yep.
Who knows?
So let's do some math here. First of all, he's up by 3 and there's only 4% left?
There's only 4% left. Yeah, so he's up by 110,000 votes. And if I recall, over the past year or two, he's stripped 10% of eligible voters off of the rolls.
Yep. So in the last couple of years, he's stripped 1 million people from their voting rights under the guise of, I'm just cleaning up the voting rolls. There might be some dead people or people that moved. And of course, come to find out, most of those folks are quite alive and had not moved. Yeah. And in last year alone, he did it to 340,000 people because he knew he was going to run for governor. And an overwhelming majority of them were Democratic. And look, he's got 110,000 person vote lead. Well, if you do the math on that, that's about exactly what he needed to get over the hump and what he eliminated just last year alone with the 340,000 voter purge. Yeah. Well, that's how it works when you cheat. And unfortunately in our system, they're allowed to get away with it. He's the Secretary of State, he oversees election. He's running for governor, he oversaw his own election. He didn't recuse himself.
How is that legal?
Yeah, yep. And he has, by the way, that there's no paper trail in Georgia. So there's no way you could verify the vote. And he did a purge of those voters that we just explained. And there's nothing you could do about it. Yeah. And so he'll have effectively, in essence, stolen that election. And so, did we have a fair contest? Would Stacey Abrams have been able to get a win if those million people had not been purged? The answer is very likely yes, but we'll never know. Yeah. Was the vote accurate, by the way? There's no paper trail. We'll never know. And so Kemp in an illegitimate win in Georgia, with 4% left, she won't be able to make up a 3% difference. But who was the actual winner of that race? You'll never know.
Well, it definitely wasn't the people in Georgia, that's for sure. And the thing that really actually gets me is that additional time that the court's allowing, it's gonna be used, if Kent takes the win, he's gonna be able to say, oh, well, there were extra time given, so these people could have come out and vote, and they didn't. I won legitimately. Yeah. And so he's always gonna be able to point to that, and hopefully with the extra time, it will have brought in more, but
But look, this is how rigged the system is. So now normally Democrats don't fight that much anyway. This is a 3-point win, so that I'm sure they won't fight. But even if they did, it's going to go to the courts that were packed by the Republicans. Yeah. And and of course the most famous case of that is 2000 when it went to the Supreme Court. It was 5 Republican appointed justices versus 4 Democratic appointed justices, and the 5 Republicans decided they didn't care about states' rights, but they said, this is an anomaly, and you should not use this as precedent in anything else. Why? Because they knew that they rigged it. They're like, well, this is a crappy decision that we did on purpose because we're all political, and we decided that we wanted you to not count the vote, and we don't care about democracy. We just want our guy to be president. So they did it all the way up to the presidential level. So is Brian Kemp going to get away with it? Absolutely.
The campaign manager for Stacey Abrams says that they are expecting a runoff. And I also read that they are planning to fight for every single vote. So they're not willing to concede easily, which I like.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Wonderful. Don't go quietly into that good night. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.